Hello, second graders. Today we are on day 5 of our Cycle 3 opinion writing. You're going to need your blue writing folders and a pencil, colored pencil, to do today's project. So we are going to go to page 23. We are doing day 5, revising examples or details. Our objective, I can write a strong example or strong detail to support my reasons. So, yesterday, we started off, and let's go back to page 25. We started off writing our example or our detail. Today, we are going to take that and we are going to build on it. We're going to strengthen it. Sometimes we can do that by adding more detail. Sometimes we do that by being very specific. And by specific, I mean we don't just make it one broad explanation or have one big example. We focus on something very, very particular. Okay? So, in my case, we're going with she was very brave. Yesterday, I talked about how dealing with people she didn't want at the school because of her skin color. Well, today, by strengthening it, I went with something a bit more specific. And I pre-wrote this for sake of time. I put, she had to deal with angry protesters outside of school. It was so bad that she had to have state marshals escort her through the crowds just to get an education, just because of the color of her skin. Despite the protesters, she went anyway. I took a very broad example. In this case, I really focused in by adding details and words to really strengthen it. In this case, dealing with people became angry protesters outside the school. I also added a very important fact that it was so bad she had to have an escort. You know things are bad when you need somebody to come help you through in a situation where you usually wouldn't. So I went ahead and became very focused on my original example by becoming even more specific. That's something I want you to do. Find a fact that you can really be particular, even if it's just changing a word or two to really bolster your example. Let's go to my second reason. I originally stated that she was a part of history. I mentioned the civil rights movement and how people struggled, African Americans struggled for equality. Okay? I also mentioned how she helped change the school part. In this case, again, I got very specific. I went ahead and said she was the face of change in the structure of schools and classrooms by becoming the first example, might as well use the word in our phrasing, of a non-segregated school in a time when the fight for equality and desegregation was going on all throughout America. So I went ahead and took my example and I focused specifically on what part of the education field that she changed. It was the structure of the classroom and the fact that the school that she went to was originally non-segregated. It was for whites only. She became the first black student there, thus changing how schools were set up, especially in the South, where students, if you were black, you went to black school. If you were white, you went to white school. She set in motion change that we most certainly see today and that you can see just by looking around your classroom. Okay? I took the broad idea of the civil rights movement in education and I focused specifically on her movement at her moment, which was having to go through school with basically armed guards. So we want you guys to take your overall example, and it could be something very, very simple as to why you like something, and focus on maybe a key detail. That key detail, maybe you're focusing on somebody, the way that they were part of a team if they're a sports player. Maybe it's something they did one year as a teammate. I don't know. But the more specific you can get, the better it bolsters your examples. Okay? So you're going to go ahead and do that today. And we will see you in the next session.